Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's another video in the Thursday throwback comeback. We're going to do a Dollar Tree French country button mosaic, just like these vintage button mosaics from when I was young. We're going to use this as an inspiration piece. This I found on Pinterest. I'm not exactly sure if it was an Etsy thing or what. We're just going to use any large chipboard sign that you can get from the Dollar Tree. These are from Christmas. And then the Dollar Tree sells buttons. This one's going to be mostly black and white, but they will use some color, so one of each is good. We're also just going to use Aleene's tacky glue to put the buttons down, and I'll show you why. And then we're going to use some chalk paint, whatever color you want to paint your chipboard. If you want to leave it natural, that would be cute as well. Then we're going to use some of this garbage can trim. I used it in a project the other day and have some left over. And we're going to use some of the Dollar Tree's Grow Green ribbon. I have it in black, but here it is in red, and whatever colors go with your kitchen. And then, of course, a scissor and a hot glue gun. What I want to just show you really quick is you can go to Google, and I know it's super fast, but you just go to Google and you type in rooster outline, and you go ahead and hit images and find the one that you want. And of course, if you don't want to do a rooster or a hen or a chicken, you can do whatever matches your decor. You want to do this in a mason jar, would be cute with maybe pale blue buttons. Do you want to go with that nautical coastal thing? Maybe do a shell or a starfish. Basically, the sky is the limit to the colors of your buttons and the depths of your imagination. So though I made the homemade chalk paint, I was gifted this chalk paint. I really just want to use it. This is still the Waverly chalk paint. I've put a nice thick coat on it. And I just want to show you some quick techniques. I've just dragged a side of a broken piece of the craft stick across the back in straight lines, just to show you how you can create some weathered board looks. If you wiggle it, it does start to simulate wood grain, and then what you do is you let that dry, and then you can paint over it so it almost looks like you've whitewashed wood grain. But what I'm just going to do, and we've done this before, so it's super fast, is I'm just holding the brush basically perpendicular to the way you would normally use the paintbrush, and I'm just creating more intense lines that way. So now while that's drying, this is the picture that I printed. I have a rooster and a hen, and then I'm going to go ahead and do this hen. But you want to make sure you print it so it fits on your board. The board that I have is quite large. This was printed in 8x10. So basically what you want to do, or what I chose to do, is I'm mocking up the buttons on the paper. Now this is a step that's completely optional. I just found it easier for me because I have so many buttons that I would pick the ones that I know would fit to fill in the area, and then I could put the rest away and not confuse myself. But I just find this to be the easiest. It's no glue. You can't make you can make mistakes, and you don't have to worry about making mistakes. But we're just going to go ahead and place all of them. Now, I think that 99% of these buttons in this jar are from the Dollar Tree's mixed buttons things. Whenever I have buttons left over from an outfit that, they always give you an extra button, I throw it in this jar. And then, of course, I have 2 packages of these novelty buttons that I bought at Hobby Lobby that are mixed in as well. But I've just tried to do a variety. I wanted my rooster to be black. The inspiration piece was really black and white. If you wanted to paint the background dark and put a white chicken on here, that would be fun too. But really, like I said, the sky is the absolute limit. We did button art and button mosaics when we were in elementary school, which was quite a while ago. But I wanted to bring it back and, of course, update it in the style that I like. My house is French country farmhouse. And I have red, white, and black roosters and chickens all over my kitchen. So I wanted to go ahead and create this piece for that. So there is a few different projects I have in mind. I was on the phone with my sister for quite a while the other day. We were working out some projects. But if you guys have anything that you want to see in this series of throwback, comeback, maybe a favorite project that you had when you were young that maybe I can update it for today. So just keep in mind, I can't really crochet and knit anymore, and needlepoint is sort of out as well. Because boy, did I have a ton of needlepoint stuff. When I was in third grade, we created a embroidery sampler, and I really wanted to do that with you guys in an updated version, but I just can't really work that needle anymore. So maybe someday, maybe someday. So what I really liked about these containers of buttons from the Dollar Tree is, first of all, one of them came in mostly black. The other one came in all colors and white. But I love that they have such a variety of size. So if you're a person who likes, you know, Jenga or Tetris or puzzles, you like to be able to fit things in. That's kind of what you want to achieve here. You want to go ahead and fill in whatever holes you can to make it mostly buttons. Okay, now that the board is dry and we're ready to go, I am just shaking them off. I kind of tried to slide them slowly so they would sort of stay in their own general region. And now we're going to transfer with graphite rub. So basically I've turned the picture over. I've rubbed a graphite pencil on the back, which is graphite's just a regular pencil. And then I've turned it over and then drawn the lines over to transfer it. Now, it is very, very light. I wanted to share that with you. You can go over the very light lines if you want to see it better. That's an option as well. However, if you noticed in the sample, we kind of had between some buttons, we kind of have some line hanging out. So to me, it's actually better to not do that. If you can see the line where you have to draw, you guys can see it kind of faintly there. If you can see that, then go ahead and just leave it like that, because that's the best. You won't have to worry about any of your lines poking through your buttons. Okay, and because I'm a righty, I like to start in the upper left-hand corner and work my way down. I'm going to start with the crest, the wattle, and then of course the beak. The beak on the sample was just white, and I realized in hindsight I could have made it gold and yellow, like his feet. There was just only like two or three tiny little buttons, and I wanted to leave those for the toes. So I went ahead and I just made the beak white, like the inspiration piece. Okay. And of course, as you can see, I've rearranged some of the buttons from where this sample was. So you go ahead and do that. And what I'm doing is I'm just laying down layers of paint. I'm basically laying down sections of paint, in a fairly decent sized layer. This paint does dry clear. It will dry shiny. If you have any left over, it will be shiny on the edge. That to me didn't make a difference. I actually do have some shiny on the edge, but you really can't notice it unless you just twist your board in the light so that you can see it. But it definitely makes it fun and easy. And there is just something about these crafts that really are just bringing me back to my youth. Getting messy with Elmer's glue. Did you guys ever pour Elmer's glue on your hand and spread it out and let it dry and pretend like you're peeling your skin off? Raise your hand. Leave it in the comments down below, the little hand emoji. That lets me know that you guys are doing that as well. So now we're going to go ahead and add the golden feet on. And again, depending on what you pick for your jar, for your picture, will depend on what buttons you use. So the last thing I wanted to do after this is dried, I let it sit for a few hours just so I wouldn't knock any of the buttons off. I thought I would take the bottom of this trash can. So if you remember, the other day we made a French country faux scale. We took the faux chicken wire and covered the hanging planter to make a nice chicken wire basket. Well, this is what was left over, and I was like, hey, I can make strips of chicken wire and decorate the edges of this to kind of frame the bird out, which I thought would be a fun. It's chicken wire. You guys get it. Plus it's black in French country. My French country especially is black, white, and red. So I like to go with that. So what I'm just doing is I'm cutting this just with my scissor, and I'm just making strips, straight strips. Now, if you've ever worked with this before, you know it is curved like the garbage can. However, it is chicken wire, so it's very easily straightened and malleable. You guys can straighten it. I will tell you that if you cut it real close to where it's joined and you pull too hard, they can separate. The little wires can come apart, but that's not a problem. You can just push them back together, especially since we're going to glue this down. So I've done is I've saved 2 full rows of the chicken wire. I've made 2 strips, long strips, and 2 short strips, and I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. So what I've done is I've taken hot glue and I've tried to put it at where intersecting points are of the metal, and then just be careful so the glue doesn't come out on your fingers. And I pressed it down, and any big lumps of glue I went ahead and I wiped it off while it was a little cool but still malleable, and this way it's doesn't show up as shiny. And then I repeated another long piece on the other side. I was thinking I might miter the edges, but my short sides were a little too short, so I wasn't able to do that, but it joined in perfectly. It almost like met perfectly. But don't forget, you can kind of stretch this to fit your area as well. Okay? And I'm just going to repeat the same with the top and bottom. And now for this, I'm going to talk about the hanger real quick. I'm going to use the Dollar Tree's black grosgrain ribbon. When that ribbon was available in my store, the black and white and the ivory, I always snatch it up because those are the colors of my house. And when I had my first apartment, I just took everything and hung it by ribbon. If it had a sawtooth hanger, I just tied a bow on the top, fed it through the sawtooth ribbon. If it had 2 D hooks or D rings, I went ahead and I just hung everything by ribbons instead. It made it so much prettier. So what I want to do here is pretty much the same thing. So I'm just going to show you a couple of different ideas. I'm just going to tie a shoestring bow. So basically how you tie your shoelaces. We're just going to tie a bow in the middle of this ribbon. But I'm just going to show you too that there is this beautiful black and white check ribbon I got at Hobby Lobby. I'm actually not going to use it if you were seeing the example, but I wanted to show you how pretty it would look on this piece. Okay? It just really brings some extra level of that French country feel to this piece of art. But we're not going to go ahead and do, and I'm going to show you a double layer bow. Basically, I took the gingham and put the black over it and tied them both at the same time. So now I'm using the awl that was gifted to me, thank you so much, to make the holes a little bit bigger, but you could use your scissor. I've fed the ribbon through the back, tied a knot on the front on both sides, and just trim, a little angled. I didn't dog-ear them, I didn't dovetail them, I just dog-eared them. So that's it. I know that was easy, fun. I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. I love doing it. I think it came out so much better than I imagined, and I cannot wait to make her mate for the other side. He might be white on a black background, but I'm not really sure just yet. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to share with friends and family, anybody you know might be interested in reviving mosaic button art. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe, and when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And as always, take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye!